Namaste everybody. So this is a short little video to help mobilize the head, neck and spine. So a lot of us take tension in our traps, our neck muscles, our shoulders, our delts. Our upper spine gets really stiff if we're sat at a desk for a long time. So just going to give you some gentle breathing and mobilization techniques to hopefully help with that. So first of all, I just want you to relax the shoulder blades. Take a deep inhalation from the belly, lift the shoulders towards the ears, roll them back and set them deep down the back of the ribs with the exhale. Almost imagine that your collarbones are doing this kind of circular movement. Just ease up that tension. Inhale, float the shoulders up. Exhale, float them down. Take as long as you need to with that movement, coordinating the inhalation as you lift and the exhalation as you just drop them heavy down the spine. From here, we're going to open the arms wide. One palm turns down, the other palm lifts up. And you're just going to mobilize in and out with the upper arm. So the thumb is going to spin down, the thumb is going to spin up. Imagine that your arms are an extension of your spine, so they're reaching wide in opposite directions. Try not to get too much of the ribs involved. Just try to focus on the shoulder rolling inwardly and outwardly. Keep breathing normally, in and out through the nose. And then reach the hands behind you, interlace the fingers behind, and reach the arms back. Try not to bring the chin forwards. Try to keep the length into the back of the neck. Chin draws down slightly towards the chest, stretching out the front of the chest. Release the arms. Roll the shoulder blades back and down. Wrap the arms around, take one arm on top, it doesn't matter, we're going to do both sides, and almost imagine you're giving your back of your shoulder blades a bit of a hug. Reach your elbows forwards and then just gently mobilize the mid-upper back. So you're turning the head in the direction of the elbows. You're keeping your chin in line with the elbows, and you're just kind of rinsing out the mid-upper back. Keep the neck as long as you can, the shoulder blades soft. Might feel a little restricted into the back of the rib cage, so just imagine that you're breathing into the area that you feel a little stiffness, a little tightness. Come back to center. Release the arms, notice which arm is on top, open them wide with the inhale, wrap the other one on top, drop the shoulders, and repeat the same movement. Focusing on the length of the spine and then the rotation of the spine. Nice easeful breaths working into the back of the ribs, the mid-upper back. It doesn't matter how far you go. Just focus on the mid-upper back doing the mobilization. And then turning the head and neck in the same way as the elbows. Come back to center. Take an inhale, reach the arms wide and up. Bring your hands to your heart center, exhale. From here, you're going to take your right hand. You're going to turn the fingers down and you're going to slide it underneath the hip and you're going to just sit down. Now, if sitting is not comfortable for you, you can bring yourself up onto a couple of cushions, a thick blanket, a yoga block. Elevate the pelvis just to give the hips a little bit more space. Now, set the weight down onto that hand and tilt the head in the opposite direction. So what you're trying to do is encourage the side of the neck to lengthen. And then very gently, you're just going to explore moving the chin in different directions. So dropping the rib cage down, breathing nice and smoothly. Maybe nod the head yes, maybe no, maybe turn the chin up, maybe roll the chin down. You'll find those spots that feel a little tight. You can hold and breathe through them, or you can continue to flow a little bit of motion through them. Up to you, but again, try not to move too much of the shoulders. Just the head and neck is kind of stretching out the side neck. And then gently, in your own time, bring yourself back to center. Release that arm, roll that shoulder back and away. Second side, roll the fingers in, slide underneath your hip and place your weight down. Drop that shoulder away from the ear and tilt the head away from the arm that's underneath the hip. Now focus on the ear that's lifting up towards the sky. So really try to sink the shoulder blade down and float that ear up. And then again, work into mobilizing the chin. Up and down, side to side. You'll notice where those sticky parts are. You can breathe deeply into them or you can move gently through them. Whatever you feel personally works for you. Just trying to get a little bit more easefulness into the neck, into the upper back. And then slowly bringing yourself back to center. Release the arms down. The next one I'm going to show you from the side. You're going to reach the arms forwards. The arms are staying long here. You're going to mobilize the shoulders forwards, up, back, and down. Almost like a cog wheel with the shoulders. And you're trying to keep your neck in line with the rest of your spine. So you're not trying to lean forwards with this movement. You're just trying to isolate some freedom into the shoulders. Front, up, back, and down. So kind of cogwheel, circular movement through the shoulder blades. Breathing normally, almost like you're reaching the fingertips forwards, up, back, and down. And then release the arms down, and again, just give them a little shake out. Let's come on to 4-point kneeling. Any of those previous stretches you can do seated, by the way. If sitting on the ground isn't comfortable for you, you can find a chair, and you can repeat the same movement pattern seated. So onto all fours. We're just going to spread the fingers wide here. You can tuck the toes under if you wish, or you can keep them flat. We're going to start with a movement of the pelvis, and we're going to increase the movement through the spine, head, and neck. So I'm going to work an anterior-posterior tilt of my pelvis. As I tuck under, I want to use the exhalation here. And as I inhale, I want to mobilize my pelvis back. Now, I'm not getting too much of my spine involved initially. Just kind of the lower third. Into the lower back, into the pelvis. Then after I've done that a few times, maybe I can get a little bit more movement into the kind of the lower rib cage and the lower back. Then maybe I can work into the mid-rib cage and the shoulders, and then release it back. Then I can get my head and neck involved, tucking the chin in, hollowing out the belly with the exhale, and coming into extension with the inhale. Now again, this is going to depend on how much movement, how much flexibility you have in the spine, but what you're looking to do is just kind of floss out the nervous system, increase the range of movement into flexion and extension, and breathe well as you do it. So don't worry about going as far as I am, just really try to get into those tight spots with the breath and the movement. Doing one more here. And then we're going to nestle back into child's pose. Now, if this isn't comfortable, you can place a blanket at the back of the knees. You can tuck the toes if you wish. You can take your knees a little wider. You're going to sit the hips all the way back to the heels and reach the arms forwards. So you want to have that sensation of melting the hips all the way back towards the heels. If it's too much, maybe relax the elbows down onto the floor. But get that sense of maybe reaching the fingertips in the opposite direction to the hips. And then notice how the back is responding to the stretch. Maybe you can breathe a little deeper into the back of the ribs and the lower spine. Try to relax the face, relax the shoulders. And then bring yourself back onto all fours when you're ready. Bring the knees together. Now, sitting back onto the heels, again, if this isn't comfortable for you, you can place a block between the hips, or you can place a blanket behind the knees. We're just going to sit tall. We're going to add a little rotation. So we're going to wrap the arms around, looking over the back shoulder. Try to keep the hips and pelvis still and stable, and imagine that you're corkscrewing the rib cage upwards around. And then switch sides. Take the arms around to the other side. Take a nice inhalation to lengthen the spine. Take a good exhalation to rotate the spine. Relax those shoulders. Coming back to center. Again, roll the shoulder blades back and down. And then we're going to come to stand. So standing up, finding the floor with the feet, spreading the toes nice and wide. We're going to let the arms hang completely heavy, and then we're just going to take a little traction. We're going to let the arms swing from right to left, looking in the direction that they're rotating, freeing up the spine, freeing up that rotation. The arms are just heavy levers. They're just giving you a little bit more purchase to find some rotation. Let them just swing. Come back to center, roll the shoulder blades back. Take a hold of your right wrist. I'm going to mirror you. So hold your right wrist, float your arms up, soften your ribs and shoulders. And then lengthen, pressing through the feet, reaching up with the inhale, and then take that sideways bend over to the left. You want to avoid rolling the shoulders forwards, and you want to keep the hips square. Again, you don't have to go very far. Just get that sensation of opening up the side seam. Come back to center, switch sides. Take an inhale. Ground through the feet, get as much length and lift, and then exhale over to the right. So you're kind of using that leverage on the wrist to get as much openness through the side seam as you can. Come back to center, release the arms down, roll them back. We're just gonna finish with some roll downs. So again, a very short, simple sequence just to free up that tightness. I'll show you from the side. You can do this against the wall, but what you're basically doing is articulating the spine, starting from the chin, rolling segment by segment down through the spine. You're gonna soften your knees when you need to. And you're gonna use the exhalation to let the arms fall heavy and keep rolling, peeling and wheeling down. The head falls heavy, the neck is long. You're looking back between your legs. Root down through the feet, engage the lower belly and use your exhalation to recover. So you're reversing the movement. The sitting bones are reaching down, the hips are opening, you're lengthening the knees when you can. And you're climbing, wheeling, peeling up the spine, bone to bone to bone. Your head comes up last. Take a breath and repeat that again. If you're struggling getting that smooth movement of the spine, which most of us do, myself included, you can also do this exercise against the wall with the feet about 6 inches away from the skirting board. Hang heavy, traction out the spine. Take a deep breath at the bottom. Hug the belly in. Imagine you're kind of coming up and over the fence as you send the sitting bones down, open up the hip bones, and restack to stand. You can do that as many times as you think feels nice. Roll the shoulder blades back and down.